Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to share my entire experience of interviewing at BCG, which is Boston Consulting Group, and I'm going to share all the 4 case interviews which were asked to me during my interviews and what went wrong because of which I was not able to get selected in BCG and my entire case interview experience process. So I'm also going to share some interview tips with all of you, the material which I had used during my interview preparation and some mistakes which I had done during my interview which you should avoid in your interviews when you go to interview in companies like BCG, Mckinsey or Bain. And these interviews are very much structured where you have to ask questions basis which the case study is given to you. So let's watch this entire video. So first of all, there's an ample amount of time which is given to you before your process of interviews, and there's a concept of buddy which is assigned to you. So buddy is nothing but a mentor who's going to help you in order to prepare for all your interviews which are there. And usually buddies are, let's say, 2 or 3 years elder to you or senior to you, who are there in the company working as consultants, and they have solved n number of case studies because of which they are able to help you in order to crack these interviews. So for example, during my case, my buddy was a person who had cleared his CA final attempt in 2017, and he was helping me with all the case interviews which were going to be asked to me in my interview process. So ideally there's a time of 1 month when you're shortlisted by BCG, Mckinsey or Bain or any other consulting firm, and in this 1 month period you have to ensure that you solve at least 15 to 20 case studies in total with your friends as well as buddies, so that you are comfortable with solving case interviews on a piece of paper when you are asked a similar question during your final interview. So ensure that during this 1 month period itself you practice a lot of case studies, and in that practice itself you should be confident enough to improve upon the mistakes which you're going to do in the practice sessions itself. So the most important part to crack these interviews is the way you structure your thoughts and the way you structure the entire case. The interviewers are not looking for correct answers because there is no correct answer in these questions at all. For example, you might be asked questions like estimate the number of golf balls in an aeroplane, or estimate the number of golf balls in air in India right now, or maybe estimate the number of poha particles in one plate. These might be the random questions which might be asked to you. Or maybe estimate the number of Uber or Ola rides in Mumbai, estimate the number of black and yellow taxis in Mumbai, or any other question of this sort. You have to ensure that you apply your mindset, you apply your assumptions and structure your thoughts very clearly, so that the interviewer is impressed not by the correct answer but by your structure of thoughts and structuring of the entire case. That is going to matter a lot. So this 1 month period, ensure you solve as many case studies as possible with your buddy, with your friends who are selected for the interview process. And then after solving these case studies, just try to rectify the mistakes which you've done during your case interviews after taking recommendation and feedback from your friends as well as buddies. Then there was this book called as Case Interviews Cracked. That was one of the best books, and I think you should definitely purchase or maybe just take a printout or Xerox of this book, and that is like one of the best books in order to help you solve for your case interviews. In that book, like, just go with the examples. There's an example which is given and then there's the solution which is given to that problem. Before solving that solution, before reading that solution, try to structure your thoughts, try to just write that solution on a piece of paper, and then try to see the solution, whether that solution matches with the thoughts which you had prepared. For example, there was one question in that book which stated that the airline company is facing a lot of losses, its profitability is going down. You have to analyze what are some of the reasons, or you have to give some sort of recommendation. Then you have to structure down your thoughts in terms of breaking down into revenue and cost, then breaking down revenue in terms of, let's say, price and quantity, and maybe if it's cost, you have to break it down in terms of whether it is raw material cost or whether it is any other cost of production which is going or maybe which is increasing. And once you have this kind of structure, you'll be able to find the root cause of the problem which is resulting in decline in profitability. So this is the way you structure your thoughts. Now coming to the most important part of this video, which is my experience in terms of what were the questions asked to me and what mistake I did. The first question which was asked to me during my case interview. So my first interviewer was a principal at Boston Consulting Group, and the first question was estimate the perfume market size in India. Again, it was a simple straightforward question where I had to lay my assumptions in terms of dividing the entire population of India between male and female, then urban and rural, then dividing that into age-wise categories 0 to 18, 18 to 24, 24 to 40, 40 to 60, and then deciding how much percentage of this population would be using perfumes and all. Then multiplying it by the price of perfume on an average. Then the most important part is that there's a replacement which happens of perfume every year. For example, I might be using 3 bottles of perfume of 400 milliliters each in 1 year itself. So you have to ensure that in 1 year you have to multiply this number by 3, because a person is going to refill his perfume bottle 3 times, and that's why the market size is going to increase further. So you have to structure your thoughts and then provide the answer. This went very well. In the second case interview, I was asked a question where there was a stationery shop in a school and its profitability was declining. I had to give some recommendations, and the root cause of that problem was that there was a lot of queue which used to happen in that Xerox machine because of the fact that the quality of the paper was not at par, and it used to take a lot of time for that paper to be in the Xerox Xerox machine and then come out finally. So basically this was the root cause. So how I ended up going on this question was that first I divided again into revenue and cost. The interviewer said that the cost has remained the same, there's a problem of revenue. It means either the price has gone down or the demand has gone down. Then the interview stated that the price has remained the same, it means that the demand has gone down. And again, while the demand has gone down, I had to identify what are some of the reasons. You have to step into the shoes of customer, identify his entire journey. Once a customer enters a stationery shop, he has to go through a lot of journey. He has to find the stationery shop first, then go to the shopkeeper, ask him about any particular thing which he wants. Then after that, he's given the thing which he's delivered, he has to pay in cash or maybe card, anything else, and then he goes back to the school which he was studying in. So therefore you have to analyze the entire journey of the customer and step into the shoes of that customer and analyze what is the entire customer experience like, and then you'll be able to find the root cause of the problem. The third case interview which was asked to me was estimate the whiskey market in India. Again, I divided into two parts, male, female, then I divided into rural and urban, and then age wise, and again I had to apply certain assumptions in terms of what would be the whiskey market in India, assuming the prices which were given to all the other types of whiskeys which were there. Of course, I don't drink, so I did not have the idea of what are the prices of whiskey, but then I had asked the interviewer specifically towards the start of the question. And then the fourth case interview which was asked to me was that there was one franchisee of ice cream which wanted to set up its operations across pan India, and you had to advise how can it go ahead, or maybe what is some of the strategy which needs to follow in order to set up its operations. So it was a go-to market strategy question. So in these questions you have to ensure that you analyze, or maybe you have to understand what exactly is the problem statement and how do you enter the market. So you have to analyze like what is the demand in top locations in India, whether you'll open in rural as well as urban areas. If urban areas, what are some of the locations, whether the customers can sit in the cafe or it will only be takeaway. A lot of factors are to be considered, and all these thoughts which you bring on the table, these add a lot of value. So all in all, these were the 4 case interviews which were asked to me, and the problem, or maybe the reason why I was not selected, was that the interviewer told me that they were not comfortable to place me in front of a client on day one itself. All these consulting firms want their employees to be very comfortable and confident when it comes to speaking with the client from day one itself. So the interviewer felt that I wouldn't be confident or comfortable sitting in front of a multinational client itself on day one itself, and that was the reason they told me that I was not selected. So in the final rounds of interview, I got this feedback that you need to improve upon your communication skills, and once we feel that you're confident, then probably you can apply again. There's a 2-year schooling off period in BCG where you cannot apply again within a span of 2 years after you're rejected from the interviews. So of course I'm not going to apply again, but all in all I'm trying to say that you need to solve all these case interviews in such a manner that you're the customer, you have to experience or visualize the entire journey. And one of the most important traits which is going to be useful is the observation trait. Wherever you go, you need to keep observing things, and once you start observing, it will be very easier for you to visualize the entire customer experience of, let's say, going to a stationery shop, going to an ice cream shop, or going anywhere else, because these questions can be as random as possible. So if you are asked a question on estimate the number of poha particles in one plate, you need to have a proper structure. What would be the volume of one poha particle? What would be the volume of the entire plate? Then divide the volume of the entire plate by the volume of the poha particle. This is the thought process which should be there so that you are able to come up with the exact answer. So I think that's all. So these recommendations, just keep in mind, you have to solve as many case interviews as possible, get feedback, get recommendation, and towards the last day of the interview, I'll recommend that just go through your notes and don't practice extra, because you will feel demotivated if you are not able to live up to your expectations of the interviewer as such. So that's it for this video. I hope this video was useful for all of you. If you do like this video, share it with all your friends and subscribe to my channel so that I can create more videos for all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video.